Final exams may have ended 3 weeks ago, but this was UConn's first test of the season. Not many fall 18 points behind the Lady Vols and live to tell about it. Yet the Huskies scratched and clawed their way back to this summit. But when looking for a place to rest the engine, only one team had a Parker. UConn has its first blemish. Can a new streak begin tonight? Its annual battle with Rocky Top, it's back to Big East Wars tonight for UConn. We are at Gamble Pavilion in Stores, where the Seton Hall Pirates visit the 5th-ranked Connecticut Huskies. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo. Thanks for spending your Tuesday with us. Megan, another first tonight, a chance for UConn for the first time to see if they can bounce back from adversity. And when you look at the loss to Tennessee, is UConn's glass half empty or half full?
Well, when you look at the numbers, you have to say their glass is half full. Now, Gino Auriemma said going into the game, he wanted to hold Tennessee to 70. He said, we got to come up with 71. Parker's going to get hers, but they couldn't give up threes, and that's exactly what they did. They also did not take care of the basketball. But one of the bright spots of this game was the play, Sharday Houston. Now, going into this game, she wanted to get her game back on track offensively. Well, that first half, she had 7 points, and that wasn't good enough. The second half, she came out, exploded for 16, took over the basketball game. Look at that, 37 minutes. I don't think she could have played 37 minutes in a game last year. 23 points, well up from her season average. The Huskies want to see that kind of output from Sharday Houston on a regular basis.
Seton Hall is off to a 9-5 start, 1-2 in the Big East, and there's little doubt which Pirate has contributed the most.
Oh yeah, Monique Blake, their senior forward. Now she's 6 foot playing inside. You see 12 points, 8 boards, 2 blocks, which has her 5th in the Big East. But Seton Hall has a rather undersized inside game, and they're going to really have to work hard to contend with the big front court for the Huskies.
It's been a while since UConn has lost 2 in a row. Since the last time it happened, the Huskies have played 478 games. The opening tip is next. Welcome back to Gamble Pavilion. Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo, all set for the 53rd meeting between Seton Hall and UConn. Let's check the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Pirates, Notisha Womack gets her 2nd start of the season tonight. Had a career-high 19 points last time out against Louisville. She'll be at forward. And for UConn, Kylie McLaren a week ago today was named the Big East Freshman of the Week. She'll make her 4th consecutive start in the middle for the Huskies. Seton Hall is coached by Pirates alum Phyllis Mangina. Winning as coach in Seton Hall history, she began her tour of duty there the same year that Gino Auriemma began his here at UConn. He has guided the Huskies to 18 straight NCAA appearances. June Cortell is the referee. Working tonight with Jack Reardon and Michelle St. Pierre. UConn has dominated the series, and June will toss the ball up between Sharday Houston and Notisha Womack. So UConn's got 3 centers in the team, and Sharday Houston's jumping center.
What does that tell you about the way that Kylie McLaren jumps? They would rather Sharday Houston.
Tina Charles will come off the bench again tonight, and frankly, we do not know whether we'll see Brittany Hunter. Her knee was swollen after practice yesterday. After some clock issues have been resolved, we're underway.
And it's interesting that Notisha Womack got the start. Phyllis Mangina told me before the game, you know what, I need to reward her for the hard work in practice, how well she's been playing.
McLaren takes it right to the rim, and the rebound fought for, but it looked like Green carried it over the end line, so it will go over to the Pirates. They've lost their last 2. Gino Auriemma's club has absolutely dominated Big East play and home games, although they are coming off the loss to Tennessee at home at the Civic Center. But when it comes to playing Big East teams at home, the Huskies have been virtually impossible to beat for 13 years.
Yeah, you know, a lot of Big East teams don't necessarily enjoy coming in here, although Seton Hall made it look easy that possession.
Nice high-low play, running it inside to Womack for the first basket of the game.
And Phyllis Mangina was saying before the game how improved their offense is. There was a great example.
Green to Montgomery, through her hands, runs back to save it. Still 14 in the shot clock. McLaren inside Houston, spins, creates some space.
What a great offensive sequence to get the ball to McLaren at the top of the key. She's such a good passer.
Ashley Booker just blew through the pressure defense, but Corpavara didn't even hit the rim on that wide open look.
And Corpavara shoots 46%. She doesn't usually miss that badly.
Houston is 2 for 2 in the first minute 12.
Well, as I said off the top of the show, you got to get Sharday Houston involved on offense. And they talk about getting Mel Thomas threes. I think similarly, you've got to get Sharday Houston a lot of touches.
The difference, of course, is Houston very capable of creating her own shot. Thomas not too adept at that.
Not so much.
Corpavara loses the handle. McLaren nearly found the ball behind her back. Here's a right side jumper by Bukosier, a junior from Poland, and the rebound to Houston. There's Montgomery. UConn 12-1, 2-0 in the league. Baseline drive Green, and the pass off McLaren's hands. Here comes Seton Hall, 4-on-3.
Nice defense.
Thomas nearly got a held ball.
She did, but you got to give Blake credit for staying with it.
Blake's been terrific. Leads Seton Hall in scoring, rebounding, blocks, and steals. Montgomery for three.
That's important for Montgomery to start the game shooting well. Did not play well against Tennessee. Her coach was even quoted in the paper as saying she played lousy. Nobody likes to read that about themselves, but they also got to take accountability.
Wonder how he really felt about it.
Trust me, she knows.
Montgomery only shooting 26% from three-point range this year. That was her 13th three of the year. Shot clock inside 10. Mukosier to Corpavara, goes right by Montgomery. Rebound in traffic is pulled down by Houston. Her second. Down low McLaren, over Corpavara. Tipped up by Green, rebound Corpavara. Takes it herself and then is going to be called for the charge. That was an eventful trip up the floor for the senior from Espoo, Finland. Never looked like she really quite had things under control.
And sometimes, you know, defenders can see that. Mel Thomas, I'm sure, was quite aware that she was a bit out of control. Didn't have a solid handle on the ball, and she stood her ground and did a nice job taking the charge.
Pirates coach knows all about ball handling. Phyllis Mangina was a point guard when she graduated. Was Seton Hall's all-time leader in steals, second in assists. Montgomery down low, Houston, tough catch in traffic over Blake, counted in the foul.
Well, that play, Mel Thomas came to the top of the key and set the screen for Sharday Houston to go down to the block. Then she catches the ball, and just so tough. All those blue jerseys around her. You think she commands a little bit of attention inside? Mel Thomas was open as well. See, the more screens that Mel Thomas can set to get her teammates open, the more she will then get open, because she's going to force teams to switch defenses.
Houston has struggled from the line, 55.6%. That foul was on Womack, her first, and 2 on the Pirates. Houston already with 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting, and the Pirates with their second turnover of the night. Montgomery quickly. Whoa. She turned it over to Booker. And Montgomery catch her from behind. She does.
That was good hustle.
Seton Hall ball, 27 to shoot.
And that's what I love about Renee Montgomery. There she made a mistake, and she lost the ball. Booker really had very little to do with it other than just picking it up and going. But Montgomery does a great job of responding to her mistakes in a positive fashion.
Tina Charles is checked in for UConn and immediately pulls down her first rebound. She's in for McLaren. They feed Charles inside. Kick out Thomas for 3. No good, but she'll shoot 3, and she leads the league in free throw shooting.
And the fine line the Huskies have to walk is you got to find Sharday's got to touch the ball a lot on the offensive end, but they also always have to know where Mel Thomas is. You always got to give her a look, try to find her.
3 foul shots.
So Thomas will go to the line where she is shooting 93.1%. Leads the Big East in that category. She's now 28 for 30. We mentioned that there's no question that UConn would like to see Thomas get more shots. She is, without question, Megan, UConn's best shooter, best open shooter, best deep shooter. And yet she's only 5th on the team in field goal attempts, had 99 entering the game.
Well, part of that, she's not incredibly quick or fast, nor is she tall. So those two things can really affect her, particularly against teams that are tremendously athletic, as was Tennessee.
Tennessee held Thomas to 5 shots in 28 minutes and only 2 shots from 3-point range. She knocked them both down. Blake puts it on the floor. Shot clock all the way down to 5. Blake inside again over Green.
And there you can see some of Monique Blake's athleticism, being able to elevate and fade away from the defense.
Blake, honorable mention all Big East selection as a junior. Here we go. Here's Houston missing her first shot. She made her first 3, but it was last touched by the Pirates. UConn has won 70 of its last 72 here at Gamble Pavilion. The Huskies with an early 6-point lead. UConn shooting 57% with the early lead over Seton Hall, which is coached by Seton Hall alum Phyllis Mangina. And listed some of the
Max Weinberg,
famous Seton Hall alum. Chuck Connors was an actor, was in The Rifleman.
Amazing Prescott. I mean, who could follow something like that? Aren't they missing that alum? Oh, there we go. Only, of course, after the Amazing Prescott. I should say the Amazing Bob Picosi. We won't ask you what year.
It involved Prescott to get on that list. I don't suppose anyone would believe I didn't have anything to do with that. That's some pretty good baseball players passed from South Bronx. See that list? Craig Biggio.
Yeah.
Bo Vaughn. Craig Biggio may be in the Hall of Fame someday. Rick Cerrone.
As a big Springsteen fan, though, I was most impressed, aside from you, of course, with Max Weinberg.
Out of the timeout, Monique Blake.
Yeah, so.
Last touch by the Huskies.
See, the difference is, and this is what separates this team, something little like Mel Thomas and Keisha Soignier running over to congratulate and grab Renee and say, good hustle, you know, grabbing her from out of bounds. Those are the little things that you don't see a lot of teams do. And if you do see it, they may do it a couple times. They don't do it every time like UConn does.
Jadis Rope, number 24, is checked in for the Pirates. Her entry pass is stolen by Houston. Third turnover for Seton Hall, who's 12th in the Big East in turnover margin. There's a wide open 3 for Thomas. And here's Booker. Phyllis Mangina is very pleased with the way Booker has run the show from the point since the injury to Chantel Brown. In the lane, Roden no good. Rebound, Charles. Montgomery, 3-on-2. Now it's a 3-on-1. Thomas.
You know, as a great a break as that was, and you're happy with the bucket, can Mel get a 3 there? I think that's the question. You're certainly happy with the 2.
She was well inside the 3-point line for her first basket of the night to go along with 3 free throws. We've played 5.5 minutes. UConn by 8. This second 3 straight home games for the Huskies. They play Syracuse Saturday. Houston deflects the pass. Look at their hands on Gino Auriemma.
How about it?
Caught that sucker and he bounced it. Bounced it while signaling the play with his right hand.
Multitasking.
What do you call that when you can do that?
Timeout, Seton Hall.
Ambidextrous.
Husky fans, make your plans now to see.
Phyllis Mangina wants a 30-second timeout. 4 seconds left on the shot clock here for her club. So let's see what they diagram. But Sharday Houston, in her last 2 games, Megan, 39 points, 17 rebounds, and she's picked up where she left off tonight.
Well, there's no doubt about it. She's thinking offense, and her teammates are doing a good job of getting her the ball in a position where she can do something with it. And then she's going for rebounds, ripping them down, starting the break, setting the screen, working hard, scoring in traffic. I mean, we've talked almost ad nauseum about how talented she is offensively, and yet we haven't, you know, last year it was an up and down year for Sharday. But I think everyone would agree that this year has been an outstanding year where she had a little bit of a slump offensively leading up to, let's say, the West Virginia game. And then she decided, you know what, enough. She played great, and then she played very well against Tennessee as well.
Blake misses the shot before the shot clock expires. 0-0. Amber Harris is checked in for Seton Hall. Keisha Soignier in the lineup, number 11 for the Huskies.
So the difference is Soignier has got to become a 3-point shooter for this team to advance as far as they want to advance.
A hold in the post will be called on Harris, her first. 4 on the team. Well, Soignier from 3-point range this year is 3 for 14, and against Tennessee the other day, the Lady Vols just sagged off her, and they weren't concerned at all when she had the ball from the perimeter.
Yeah, that's something that you have to work on in the offseason, Bob. You're not gonna improve that much during the season, but this kid's a worker. She'll go home, and I trust she'll be a great three-point shooter next year.
Right now, through the first 13 games, UConn has one reliable three-point shooter. Charles kissing it off the glass for her first point. In fact, entering the ball game, UConn was 14th in the Big East and 244th in the country in three-point field goals. They only have 51 of them, and Mel Thomas has 30 of them. Blake goes right by Kalena Green.
She's so athletic.
She's got 6. The UConn lead is 8. 6.5 minutes gone by.
I mean, that just shows you the importance of a three-point shot, with Mel being the only three-point shooter.
Montgomery.
On cue. Renee's trying to say, you know what, I'm creeping in there too. I can shoot it.
Yep, she knocked down her second 3 of the night. Well, there's also no question that of the others in the team, Montgomery is certainly capable of becoming.
Just hasn't proven it consistently enough.
She was last year.
Right, and you also have to think that this team, they score 79 points a game, and yet they're not tremendous from three-point range. They have so many ways to beat you from two-point range.
Blake with the offensive rebound, and as she pivots in the lane, she's bumped. And this will be the first foul on UConn. It took 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Kalena Green picks it up.
First on Green.
Gino Auriemma's club will be right back at it Saturday afternoon here at Gamble against Syracuse. We'll have it for you at 2 o'clock here on CPTV. At the free throw line, Monique Blake misses the first free throw. And her coach, Phyllis Mangina, says, we never talk about scoring with Monique Blake. We wanted to show the younger players the intensity level you need to compete in the Big East. She's not a very vocal player. And, you know, it's tough for someone who's not vocal to become vocal.
It is. It's very, very difficult. And that's one thing I know at Connecticut, that they work on that as freshmen. You know, even if it's just clapping in every drill and cheering on your teammates. A lot of kids aren't accustomed to it, number one. And for a lot of kids, it's outside of their personalities. So that's something that this program works very hard.
Soigné penetrates, sets up Montgomery. She's got 3 threes tonight.
You know, I was joking with Phyllis Mangina before the game, you know, that Renee didn't play well against Tennessee, and I said, Phyllis, I'm afraid she's going to come out and do some things against you tonight that's not going to make you very happy. And she said, oh, I know. She goes, it seems like 4 years in a row we played UConn after losing after playing Tennessee.
Jada Schroeder with the right side jumper. Montgomery 3 for 3 from three-point range. Last year, after losing to Tennessee, in the next game, UConn beat Seton Hall by 40. Here's a Nick Lombardi, number 4. Brittany Messina's 23. Roden to Messina at the foul line. Back out to Lombardi.
Nice pass.
Nice pass inside. Womack with the left hand.
Tremendous pass.
Womack's got 4. She's a sophomore from Fort Washington, Maryland. Mel Thomas with the 3. So UConn's already got twice as many threes in the first 8.5 minutes tonight as they had against Tennessee.
Well, a little difference, I think, in the caliber of play, number 1, but this team is also angry, and they're actually proving a point here.
Charles with the rebound. Thomas, another 3. Rims out. Charles with the putback.
Yeah, Phyllis Mangini's got to stop the bleeding here.
She wants a timeout. Tina Charles has made her presence felt. 2 for 2 from the floor, and she already has 5 rebounds since she checked in. UConn 4 of 7 from three-point range. 3 from Renee Montgomery, and Mel Thomas with her team-leading 31st of the year.
Well, it's again recognition. She's getting to the right place on the floor, and Renee Montgomery did a good job of finding Mel. And, you know, I know Gino right now talking about, you know, it doesn't matter what the score is. He was saying to Tina a second ago, you know, catch the ball inside, be tough with it, go up strong. And that's what they've got to get through to Tina Charles, that, you know, it's not easy for big guys, Bob, especially ones who are heralded coming out. As you see the great disparity in three-point attempts anyway. But the funny thing is, I'm interrupting myself here, but the three-point graphic you just saw, Phyllis Mangina told me before the game that they were shooting so poorly from three-point range early in the season.
Still are.
Well, she just said, you know what? I don't want you to shoot them. Don't shoot them. But and then sometimes they will, and they'll miss. And she'll say, I told you not to shoot them. You can't shoot threes. Just don't do it. But I was open. I don't care. Did you make it? No. She's a riot.
There are 324 schools in the country, and Seton Hall is 322nd in three-point field goals. Cats, who will be at the Civic Center to take on UConn on February 24th, the final home game of the year. Of course, there will be no senior night this year, with the exception of honoring the team managers. Always at least one or two team managers who are seniors. First time since 2003 that UConn does not have a senior class player. Out of the timeout, Seton Hall's got to use another timeout. They couldn't get the ball in bounds.
Mangina is not happy, to say the least. Looking at Womack going, what are you doing? And you know, that's what's so frustrating as a coach, because I'm sure Phyllis designed exactly what was going to happen from the defensive end for what they can prepare for. And I'm sure Womack looked at it, okay, whatever, and then they go, and some kids, it happens to all kids at some point, they just go out and they absolutely forget what they just heard in the huddle.
Well, Phyllis Mangina's from Orange, New Jersey, but 4 of her 12 players are from outside the United States. They've come from Australia, Poland, Finland, and Quebec.
And I joked with her before the game. I said, boy, you guys are really international. I said, when did this start? Well, they went over to Europe in '89, and then she made some connections, met some people, and then they recruited a kid like from France, and then one from Spain, and they knew each other. And then she's got this great little world over there, and other coaches want to go with her, and she refuses to tell them, number one, where she goes, or she won't let anyone come with her. She said, no, this is my thing. I'm not letting anybody in. And the kids love coming. I mean, they love coming to Seton Hall. They love New York City.
So hold in the lane will be called on the Huskies. Only the second team foul. That one will be on Talena Green.
Second foul.
Both on her.
Green, second on the
Now,
team.
what they have to do at Seton Hall is you have to schedule some of those homecoming games once you get the play. So you can go play a game
Go
in
to
France
Australia.
and leave 3-4 days early and stay 3-4 days later.
Number 31, Tina
That's the
Charles.
way to do
Number
it.
32.
And you know what? The kids who come over from Europe, she loves it. You know, they're
Fundamentally sound.
Yeah, they're fundamentally sound. They're you know, typically more mature. You know, she doesn't worry about them. They're great kids.
Of course, UConn had one of those.
Oh yeah.
Milano Brosimo,
Yeah.
she's fairly skilled.
Vaguely remember her.
This is Labadie. She's from Quebec. Holds it up with the left hand. Rebound in traffic, knocked away from Harris to Thomas. Soignier as we approach the 10-minute mark. Right side Montgomery. She's got 3 threes already. Rebound in the lane is pulled down by Amber Harris. Labadie trying to run the offense. Harris. Man-to-man defense for the Huskies. UConn is 3rd in the country in field goal defense. Opponent shooting 31%. Womack with the miss, and Thomas with her second rebound. Montgomery tries to beat Labadie off the dribble and does, and will get to the line where she's 10th in the league in shooting at 80%.
She's gotten really good at recognizing when to take it. And she's so strong going to the basket. She loves coming in the right side. That's pretty far away. I mean, that wasn't a layup. She's good with the runner.
Yeah, she likes that move.
She
Coming
does.
to the right
She
side.
shoots that an awful lot.
She creates some space and uses her body to
And she always
shield
gets
the ball.
fouled. Yeah, always
Right.
gets fouled.
Substitution for Seton Hall. Booker back in. Also Blake back in.
And this isn't one of the 2 players you want at the free throw line. We talked about Mel shooting 93%. Well, Montgomery shoots 80% from the free throw line.
Had a big game against the Pirates a year ago. Booker spins out of the double team. Right side, this is Nicole Emery, number 15. So Phyllis Mangina has used just about every available body on her team. They have 11. Down low Blake. She's double teamed, doesn't matter. Rebound in traffic to Womack. And Charles comes away with her 6th rebound. Soignier to Houston, who ran the floor and was rewarded.
What a great pass and great recognition from Keisha Soignier.
UConn foul number 20.
Foul. That takes the wind out of your sails. You know, you have a great offensive break, and you finish it, and then you commit the foul.
First on Montgomery and 3 in the team. Montgomery sits down with 10 points on 3 of 4 shooting, all from behind the arc. She's in double figures for the 11th time this year. And we'll get another hold on the Huskies. This one will be on Houston or Thomas?
I think Thomas, yeah.
Her first and 4 on the team. And Phyllis Mangina wearing out that buzzer over at the scorer's table. Running people in and out. This time checking in once again will be Ella Mukosier, the junior from Poland. Spent 2 years at Jefferson College in Missouri. Traveling violation on the Pirates, only their 4th turnover. They had 26 of them against Louisville.
They sure did, and that was a huge, you know, it's a huge concern of Phyllis Mangina. She said, you know, we're not doing a great job of taking care of the ball. We've got to do that.
Well, Seton Hall hasn't been very lucky scheduling-wise. They played Louisville after Louisville lost its first game of the year to Providence, which would have to be considered a phenomenal upset. Louisville ranked 13th in the country.
Right.
And now they get UConn coming off its first loss to Tennessee.
And then they go, and then they play Rutgers, and then they go at West Virginia, at Cincinnati.
And I think they play the Mavericks. Inside, Tina Charles kissing it off the glass. She's got 6 points and 6 rebounds on 3 of 3 shooting. After playing only 11 minutes against Tennessee. Here's Soignier with the steal, and no one will catch her.
Well, the nice thing about Tina Charles and the way she's responding to not playing well, and I'm sure getting an earful from her coach and her entire coaching staff, is, especially as a young kid, to respond like this, that says something about her.
Mukosier missed the shot, but was smacked in the head after releasing the ball by Charles, who looked actually surprised. 1 on Charles and 5 on the team.
And Soignier just has such tremendous anticipation, and she's lightning quick.
28th steal of the year for Soignier. Into the free throw line will go Mukosier, who was a junior college honorable mention All-American a year ago at Jefferson College in Missouri, where she averaged 16 per game. She was born on New Year's Day. I guess you don't really celebrate too much on New Year's Eve when a birth is that imminent, huh?
No, it was that first year. That was tough for her mom.
Tina Charles is now 4 for 4 from the floor. She's got 8 points, and she'll go to the line to try to complete the 3-point play.
First foul on number 11.
Foul on Blake, her first, and 6 on the team.
Tina Charles, 1 free throw.
Charles, the National High School Player of the Year a year ago at Christ the King, the alma mater of Sue Bird, Shamika Holzclaw, and one of her high school teammates will be joining the Huskies next year, Lauren Dixon.
As soon as Tahira Williams threw that ball backcourt, you could see the look on her face, like, oh, why did I do that?
You know, Mariam and Jack Reardon having
Jack has officiated for 25 years. A great guy.
I think they're probably discussing the Eagles' chances against the Saints this Saturday night.
And my condolences to you and your Giants.
Tough loss for the Giants.
I'm not going to gloat about my Eagles. I won't.
Well, that's good, because that'll make 2 of us who won. Hey, the Eagles are red hot. They ended the playoffs as hot as any team in the NFC. Charles will sit down.
It's impressive to be doing it all without your starting quarterback.
Oh, well, the other guy's playing as well as McNabb, Jeff Garcia. Knocked out of bounds by Montgomery, 25 to shoot for the Pirates. And Nicole Emery will throw the inbound. This is Booker, freshman from Oceanside, California. That's one of those places where Phyllis has to line up one of those homecoming games.
Oh, absolutely.
Booker went to La Jolla Country Day School. And if anyone's ever been to La Jolla, you would know why you want to go play a game there or do anything else there.
And it's interesting then to choose to go to South Orange for the next 4 years.
Oh, they're so similar. Tahira Williams inside, counted, and the foul. The foul will be the 7th on the Pirates. And Tahira Williams will try to complete a three-point play when we come back. Williams playing against a team in her backyard. She's from Montclair, New Jersey. UConn has won 86 of its last 93 regular season games against Big East opponents. And Megan, it's tough to win when only one player scores in double figures. And in fact, UConn did not win Saturday against Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, if just one or two of those players hit their numbers, I mean, you're not asking them to do anything superhuman. Just do what you do every game, and they'll win the game. And Sharday Houston was the one player who did that. But look at Montgomery here tonight. Really has made a concerted effort. And I mentioned this earlier. This kid, I think more than anybody, does a tremendous job of rebounding from whether it's a mistake in a play or an entire game. She corrects her mistakes better than most players.
Three-point play for Tahira Williams, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in New Jersey 2 years ago as a senior. Montgomery nearly got the steal. Blake on the left. Harris with McLaren's hand in the face. And then eventually McLaren's hand knocked her down. And it will be a foul on Kylie.
Yeah, to commit that foul, I mean, Gino Auriemma is just scratching his head like, are you kidding? And yeah, McLaren's a freshman, but you know, you just can't commit those silly fouls. I mean, they are useless plays.
Harris misses the first free throw. Phyllis Mangina told me UConn can play so many different ways. It's scary. They can go real big. They can go quick and small and everywhere in between. And they are a handful to defend. And that's a pretty good illustration of how UConn got back in the game the other day against Tennessee. They went real small, and Swanier Montgomery certainly picked up the pace of the game, and Brittany Hunter did a fabulous job at both ends of the floor. And even without that three-point shooting we talked about, they erased an 18-point deficit.
Yeah, they tied it up with 2 minutes to play.
McLaren rebounds the Montgomery miss. Green right down the lane, and she will draw the foul on Blake, her second, and 8 on the Pirates.
Now there's the name Green you mentioned. We haven't spoken of her at all this evening. Hasn't scored.
That was her first shot, and it won't even go in the books as an official field goal attempt because she was fouled. And Green, like many of her teammates, has struggled from the foul line. There you see her field goal shooting percentage, or her free throw percentage is only 59.4. UConn is shooting 64.2% from the line for the year. 12th in the Big East, 251st in the country.
Well, I joke with Phyllis because Seton Hall is right there with him. Seton Hall is shooting 65%. I said, Phyllis, why do you and UConn stink so much from the free throw line? She said, Meg, I don't know, because I can't even deal with it anymore. Nice pass.
Great look inside from Labadie, and Emery converts.
Yeah, a little lack of communication breakdown defensively for the Huskies.
Williams to Houston. Draws the double team and the up and under move.
I love that move. Sharday Houston uses it better than anybody.
Yep. Textbook.
Yeah, a little hesitation.
Use of the pivot foot. Corpavara up top to Labadie. Gives to Harris. Labadie up top again. Right side Emery. Foot was on the line. Rebound. Corpavara.
Yeah, nobody boxed out Corpavara.
She made the WBCA Classic All-Tournament team. Seton Hall opening the season in that event. Williams to McLaren. They're playing catch. Back to Tahira. And nobody in the lane except Amber Harris for the Pirates. They run the floor beautifully. Emery can't finish. Houston wrestles the rebound away. We get a held ball. Arrow pointing toward the Hall.
And there, Seton Hall just did a good job of getting up the floor and beating the Huskies.
Labadie's thrown some nice passes.
Yeah, she really has.
Now watch Houston's strength here. Oh. It's like WWE. Corpavara to Labadie. Low block Womack. Montgomery got a hand on it. Montgomery still has it. Tries to get it to Houston and does. 7th turnover for Seton Hall. Green to Montgomery. McLaren inside down low Williams, but she couldn't handle the pass. And the outlet pass goes to the storage table. Wow.
And the crowd was trying to say that Womack fouled Tahira Williams. Little forearm, a little push.
Megan Gardler checks in for UConn for the first time. Gardler missed 2 games. Speaking of WWE, she hurt her elbow literally fooling around wrestling with some of her friends on Christmas night. Gino Oriema said, whatever happened to, hey, you want to go to the mall? You want to get your nails done? Where did the, hey, you want to wrestle? Where did that start? There's Gardler, who's the most valuable player of the Philadelphia Catholic League last year at Cardinal O'Hara. Traveling call on Green, 6th turnover for UConn. The Huskies did not drop in the latest national rankings, which came out today, the ESPN USA Today poll. Very unusual. You lose a game and you stay put, but it was their first loss. And recognizing the quality of the opponent.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt when you lose to a team who's ranked higher than you are.
Yeah, Tennessee's only loss is on the road to North Carolina, and UConn will play the unbeaten Tar Heels on Monday night on national television. McLaren with the rebound, and the Tar Heels just hammered UConn in Hartford last year. Gardler with the miss. Rebound, Amber Harris. Here's Labadie to Corpobar on the right. Left side, it's Emery. Pass deflected by Gardler, and Green with the steal. She got shoved, and Corpobar will be whistled for the foul. Her 2nd and 9 on the team. There's the latest rankings, and the only change, I believe, is at number 10. Stanford jumped from 12th to 10th. Vanderbilt was 10th last week. 1 through 9, they stayed the same, but number 2 North Carolina and Gino Oriema's 5th-ranked Huskies will play Monday night in Chapel Hill on national television. UConn's annual appearance on Martin Luther King Day, a tradition which started in 1995, the day that UConn played Tennessee the first time. An historic day in the program's history. They beat the Lady Vols, and by doing so ascended to #1 in the rankings for the first time. Ball bounces off of Rhoden's hand. Soignier's pass to Green. What a tough catch and finish.
You know, Kalena Green needed a play like that, or it doesn't surprise me that a play like that was the way she got herself into the scorer's book. I mean, what a great pass, and then just great focus and upper body strength. But again, it's Keisha Soignier who gets it all started. This kid has been doing, I think, a little bit of everything coming off the bench.
Yep. UConn is shooting 63% from the floor. Huskies entered the game shooting 49.6, #1 in the Big East and 5th in the country. Green completes the 3-point play. She's got 4, and the lead is 24 as we hit the 4-minute mark. Booker, and the pass by Rhoden is stolen by Houston, gives to Soignier, and ahead of everyone is Green. It's like the court is tilted. UConn has outscored Seton Hall on the break, where UConn has scored 17 fast break points already tonight to 4 for the Pirates. Booker. Number 10, Nicole Sullivan back in. She's got the ball in the post. Shot clock inside 10. Messina, who had a season-high 10 against Louisville Saturday, and Green nearly stole it. Took it over the end line. It will be Seton Hall ball, but with 2 seconds left on the shot clock when we come back. Here are the last 2 of those 17 points off the break for the Huskies. They lead by 26. In Springfield, I know you and I were both there.
Yes,
See Gino get inducted into the Hall of Fame. He gave a terrific message, talking about how he felt he owed so much to his players, not to mention his family and high school coach and everyone who helped him get to where he is today. 2 seconds left in the shot clock for Seton Hall. Let's see what Phyllis Mangina came up with in the huddle. Rhoden beats the clock, can't get it to go, and the rebound on a hop comes down to Womack, and a fresh 30 for the Pirates. Womack with the runner with the right hand.
If Womack could perfect that shot, she'd be unstoppable in the lane. She's got to get a little stronger.
Saw her hit with the left hand early in the game. Charles baseline goes right at the rim.
There's a tough move.
5 for 5 from the floor for Charles. She's in double figures for the 8th time in her career. 10.6 rebounds. Messina with a deep 2 from the right.
Oh, she led the team last year at 29 threes. She was close. She's got to get behind the line.
Only 5 for 22 from three-point range this year. Inside the 3-minute mark, Charles down low again. Nice feed to Houston. Tina Charles has been terrific tonight.
And it's, you know, I think a switch has turned in her head. You know, Chris Daly alluded to in a halftime interview that it's more between her ears and any sort of shoulder pain she may have, but she's bringing it tonight.
UConn already with 3 players in double figures. Houston with 12, Montgomery and Charles with 10. Booker on the left gets the friendly rim.
And Bob, when you have a big guy who's a proficient scorer, as the Huskies have a couple, but when they can also be good passers, that is such a nice luxury to have.
Charles to Houston, and it's blocked by Sullivan, but a foul will be called. I think it was Roden who got her from the other side. Her first. And that will send the Huskies to the free throw line. And it will be Sharday Houston. Phyllis Mangina was telling me yesterday that in watching UConn play this year, she said probably the thing I've noticed more than anything else is what a tremendous improvement that Sharday Houston has made. She looks like a completely different player.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it all season, Bob. It's, you know, it's the weight she lost. You know, she's in better shape. But more than anything, it's some decisions that she just made. And she made up her mind, and she's doing things the way she said she wants to do them, and she's held up her end of the bargain.
Well, she nearly made up her mind to spend the last 2 years of her career elsewhere. After the season ended last year, she played very poorly in the season-ending loss to Duke. She had a heart-to-heart with the head coach. Some of her teammates were instrumental in trying to convince her to stay.
And you know what, Bob? She's a great kid, and Gino has always liked her as a kid. And you know, the media made more of any sort of a rift between them. There was never anything like that, but she's just a terrific kid.
Houston inside, powers her way, can't finish. Rebound at the 1:30 mark to Messina. And the silly foul in the backcourt.
That's a ridiculous call. And you know what? Sharday tried to get out of the way. And to call that, I like Michelle St. Pierre, but that's just silly.
1 on Houston, 7 on the team. Wow.
First foul on Charles.
Okay.
1-1.
So to the free throw line will go Brittany Messina, the 5'11" sophomore from Massapequa, New York. She and her Seton Hall teammate Nicole Emery were AAU teammates. Gardler on the left, and her pass is deflected by Messina, and then Roden ripped it right out of her hands.
Whoa.
Missed the layup. 6 turnover for the Huskies. Rebound McLaren. Here's Thomas. Great look inside to
Nice
Charles.
pass.
Didn't somebody push Charles in the back there in that shot? Well, I don't know how Charles did in pregame warm-ups. I don't know if she missed any shots there, but she hasn't missed any during the game.
How about that?
Montgomery with the steal, the behind the back, and the dish.
Oh.
Wow.
She doesn't want her coach to say that she played lousy this evening, that's for sure. And see, that's where, you know, Gino Auriemma says things, and he knows how to motivate that kid. He knows that she doesn't want him saying things like that about her.
Amber Harris with the jumper in the lane. Montgomery not only has scored 10 first-half points, but has 5 assists.
And Bob, that's what he said publicly. Can you imagine what he said to her?
Shot clock off. Charles to Gardler, knocked away by Messina. Gardler gets it back and then knocked over the end line by the Hall with 11 seconds left. McLaren will inbound. UConn has thrown a 56 spot up on the board against Seton Hall here in the first half.
Imagine that. They scored 64 points on Saturday.
Right. By the way, I don't know how many UConn fans noticed, but the score of the game Saturday was the identical score to the 1995 NCAA championship game. Well, not quite identical. The teams were reversed. But when UConn won its first championship, they beat Tennessee 70-64 at Minneapolis. Charles in the lane.
How about that move?
Tina Charles 7 for 7 from the floor in the first half. Booker at the buzzer. She made a half-court shot at the buzzer to beat Lehigh this year. UConn 65% from the floor, the best they've done in any 20-minute half this season. And Gino Auriemma's club has scored 58 first-half points. They have 4 players in double figures in the first half. They had only 1 in 2 halves against Tennessee the other day. 58-29. We're halfway home. Well, in the first half, UConn took only 1 more shot than Seton Hall, but they made 10 more. 58-29 UConn. Bob Picozzi back at Gamble Pavilion. Megan Kumo is with associate head coach Chris Daly.
Thanks, Bob. CD, now I know a lot of numbers to be happy with this half. I looked at, okay, Saturday had 1 player in double figures. Well, now it's halftime and you already have 4 players in double figures.
Well, I'm not sure you can compare Saturday to this, except that we came out very aggressive, and you know, we took a fall on Saturday and we just got up today, and you know, the good thing about basketball is you get to play right away. If we were football, imagine if you were Ohio State. You're not happy today.
Yeah.
So we're able to get it out of our system, and we're playing well right now.
And I thought Renee Montgomery responded exceptionally well too.
Well, I think everyone's, you know, the last 2 days we didn't really practice the day after the Tennessee game, but I thought the effort, the energy, the intensity has been good, and it showed today.
Is that real leather?
Of course. Back to you, Bob.
You actually got a blush there from the associate head coach. Sharday Houston, one of those 4 players in double figures. Her sidekick Renee Montgomery in front of her was another. Let's check the highlights. Seton Hall's Monique Blake leading the Pirates in scoring 12 per game. She had 7 first half points. Spectacular first half for Sharday Houston. 6 for 8 from the floor. Look at the use of the pivot foot here. The up and under move for 2 of her 13. Keisha Soignier to Tina Charles. Charles took 7 shots, made them all. She had 14 points. And Montgomery hit 3 early first half threes. This one off the pass from Soignier. She's got 10 points. It all adds up to a huge 29-point halftime advantage for the Huskies, who outshot Seton Hall 66% to 38%, and also, Megan, dominated play in the paint.
Well, yeah, and that's one thing that Phyllis Mangini was concerned about, was the huge size disparity. But then you also got to look at the fast break points. I mean, my goodness, Huskies did it inside and out.
Well, we began the night by talking about Monique Blake and Sharday Houston. Let's update their numbers.
Well, you look at that, Huskies did a good job in maintaining the other team's best scorer, and Sharday continuing that second half trend from the Tennessee game on Saturday.
She will inbound directly in front of us. Houston, a preseason nominee for both the Naismith and Wooden Player of the Year awards. Right side Thomas, that's 65% for UConn, 65.7, the best shooting percentage in a half this season. Thomas on the right, and flying through the lane for the rebounds, Kalena Green.
And I think a pretty big statement from Phyllis Mangini, starting Monique Blake on the bench here in the second half.
Thomas with the pull-up. Mel Thomas with 12. She's one of those 4 Huskies in double figures. McLaren with the step-in steal. Here's Montgomery. Seton Hall gets back quickly defensively, and Amber Harris rebounds in the lane. First half, Blake had 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting, but only 2 rebounds. She's the 8th leading rebounder in the Big East at 8.2 per game. On the right, it's Roden. Foul line, Womack to Labadie, who gets the start at the point to begin the second half over Booker. Shot clock at 5. Messina with Montgomery's hand in the face, and Thomas directed the rebound to Montgomery, who has Green right, takes it herself, and will get to the line. Foul on Labadie, her 3rd, first in the second half on Seton Hall.
There, the nice tip, a heads-up play, and then, look, split the defense, and almost had the strength to get it up there. But come on, Renee, use the left hand. You use the left hand there, you make it.
Montgomery 2 games ago, playing about 3 hours from her hometown of St. Albans, West Virginia, playing in Morgantown against the Mountaineers a week ago tonight. Last year, Montgomery was the Big East Freshman of the Year and is a preseason All Big East selection as a sophomore. Roden. And her pass to Messina went over the end line. Phyllis Mangina doesn't look very happy. Her club has turned the ball over 13 times already. This is the second straight game for Seton Hall against a top 25 opponent. They lost to 13th ranked Louisville on Saturday on the road. Seton Hall had won 4 in a row before losing on January 2nd to Notre Dame.
Yeah, they won on a last-second shot against Lehigh in the championship of Lehigh's tournament, and then Notre Dame hits a last-second shot at halftime of their game.
McLaren with the nice feed inside to Houston. Yeah, the shot that beat Lehigh at the buzzer was a half-court shot by Ashley Booker in the finals of Lehigh's Christmas Classic.
So you go on that, like we were joking about that before the game. You know, you have the high of making that shot, and then it happens to you the next game. Albeit at halftime.
Hitting the right side jumper. Sophomore from Lakehurst, New Jersey. Steal, and here's Messina. Only the 7th turnover for the Huskies. Roden from nearly the same spot. McLaren with the rebound. Her 5th of the night. Thomas, ball
nice
fake.
Pass.
Houston, baseline. Head fake, lays it in. Oh! That almost looked like goaltending, except there wasn't a hand there. How did that not stay in?
I think the girls, though, are happy that there's a dead ball here. A little tired.
Nicole Sullivan replaces Womack for Seton Hall. Pirates will return to action this Saturday afternoon at home against Rutgers. Scarlet Knights may be getting it together. Last Saturday, they absolutely pounded Pittsburgh in a Rutgers home game. Labadie with the left side 3. So Labadie's second 3-pointer of the season. Phyllis Mangina going with a different lineup to start the second half. No Blake, no Booker.
Well, sometimes you got to mix it up if you're not getting the results that you want from your kids, and you keep telling them things. And whoa! Montgomery
shot it. You don't see a 3-point attempt blocked too often, but Messina got a whole bunch of that one. And then as Montgomery tried to get it back, she's whistled for the foul.
And that was a deep 3.
Yes. Usually they don't even contest that.
Well, look at that. She was way downtown, and that was just a nasty block. That'll make Seton Hall's highlight film.
Messina and Labadie collide. Cross court, Houston nearly got the steal. Instead, Emery uses the glass nicely. Emery, a freshman from Baldwin, New York. Last year, in her first year at Seton Hall, missed 25 games with bone chips in her knee. So she was a medical redshirt. She still had 3 more years of eligibility after this one. Montgomery down low McLaren. And she nearly knocked Houston over with that pass. It's like a Nolan Ryan fastball. Shot clock all the way down to 5. Montgomery. Houston beats the clock.
When in doubt, get the ball to Sharday Houston. It doesn't matter how much time is on the clock. She'll get it up on the rim.
So Houston with 17 points. 9th double-figure scoring game of the year, 45th of her career. Right side jumper, Messina, and Green way up in the air for rebound number 3.
And the quick outlet.
Running the floor nicely is Green, but I think she's going to be called for the charge on the pass.
And see, this is where you have to know Gino Auriemma. He's looking at Renee Montgomery. And that's not a happy face.
No, 3 on Green and 2 on the club. Houston with 1 second left on the shot clock. She's 8 for 11 from the floor. It's been all UConn, who's won 185 of its last 188 against unranked opponents. Seton Hall playing shorthanded tonight for the 10th straight game. Chantel Brown, their starting point guard, a sophomore from Lakewood, New Jersey, out with a foot injury. And Phyllis Mangina told me so far they haven't discovered a fracture in any of the X-rays or MRIs, but they think there's something there. And Phyllis is not that confident that Chantel will be able to come back and play this year.
And that's a great loss to the Pirates. I mean, this kid brings heart. She brings intensity. And those are intangibles that do so much for your team.
And with her absence, a freshman, Ashley Booker, has become the starting point guard, although we haven't seen Booker at all in the first 4+ minutes here in the second half. Haven't seen Monique Blake either, who, by the way, needs only 6 more points for her 1,000th career point. The jumper left side, Sullivan, and counted, and the foul inside the putback by Amber Harris. It's a busy night in the Big East. And look at that one between two heavyweights, 2 top 25 teams. Pittsburgh with a 2-point lead over Marquette. Marquette only with 1 loss this year. Louisville with a 9-point second-half lead at Georgetown. The Cardinals with only 1 loss. DePaul coming off a loss to Marquette leads West Virginia by 5 at the half. And Rutgers absolutely pounding USF. And I think the Scarlet Knights have awakened from their early season 5-5 slumber.
I said that to Chris Yale, and she said, of course, because we're going to play them soon. They'll come out of their slump.
Yeah, well, UConn will play Rutgers twice. Houston gets the roll. She's got 19. The way the Big East schedule works is every Big East team will play 1 opponent twice, and for the 2nd year in a row, that opponent for UConn will be Rutgers. And why not? 2 teams considered the best in the league entering the season. Rutgers was nationally ranked to begin the year, but following a couple of early losses, has not returned to the top 25.
Yeah, but don't let that fool you. They may not be ranked, but they're still
talent.
Yeah, they're still a very tough team to play.
Nicole Sullivan with the putback inside. They have Epiphany Prince, one of the top freshmen in the league. Prolific high school scorer. Essence Carson, Bati Abidjan. And they had some early season injuries to deal with as well.
They'll be fine.
Thomas, right side jumper. She's got 14. The Huskies continue to shoot the lights out. It's like an NBA box score. Houston 17, Charles 14, Thomas 14, Montgomery 11.
You still got to play the 4th quarter.
The NBA has a 24-second shot clock. Labadie feeds Sullivan inside. She lost her footing. That's a trouble. Phyllis Mangina told me, I said, what kind of tempo would you like to see? She said, I'd like to see an 80-second shot clock tomorrow night. Because the idea is you just want to limit UConn's transition opportunities.
And that's where they're so deadly, and that's where they've really hurt Seton Hall. We talked about those fast break points at halftime.
And that's how they got back into the game against Tennessee. It's a lot harder to come from 18 down when you don't do it with 3-point.
Yeah, they only had 2 threes.
Mel Thomas is one of her threes tied the game the first time. Brittany Hunter actually tied it a second time and had a chance to put the Huskies on top. And we have not seen Hunter at all tonight because her knee is acted up again. So this is the 4th game she's missed in the last 5. Charles finally missed the shot. That one was much better, though.
And her arms are so long that she can go up and rebound the ball over a defender's back and not get called because her arms are so long. She's not committing a foul.
So Charles now 8 of 9 from the floor, 16.7 rebounds coming off the bench. Of course, Charles getting more playing time tonight in part because Hunter is not available. And as we've said so many times this year, Hunter's status every day is day to day because of that knee.
Well, and you know, she must have done it yesterday in practice, or maybe she just woke up today. When I talked to Gino yesterday when we taped the show, which aired before tonight's game, he said, yeah, she feels great. He goes, but the weird thing is, she could feel great at the beginning of shoot-around, let's say, or feel great at the beginning of warm-ups, and then all of a sudden something happens, and that's it.
Pass from Emery cross court to Corpivara. 10 seconds left in the shot clock. Blake is back in the game. Feeds Harris inside. Again, Blake 6 points shy of becoming the 18th player in Seton Hall history to score 1,000 points. And here's the steal with Harris and Blake combining to get it. Blake, bounce pass on the right. This is a 3 by Emery. Long rebound to Charles, her 8th. Quickly the other way, it's Swanier. Nice lead pass to Green for the finish.
I just love Keisha Swanier's decisions that she makes.
Yeah, well, that's why she's second in the Big East in the important assist to turnover ratio. 2.1 assists for every turnover. What a luxury to have two talented point guards. Blake with the up and under move. Charles with the block. 12 seconds left in the shot clock.
And you wouldn't have thought against Tennessee that the two of them would have been in the backcourt when the Huskies went on that run in the second half, because the height disparity with the Tennessee backcourt was a bit concerning for the coaches. But the two of them did an outstanding job together, and we've seen it for 2 years now.
Inside Corpivara, nice use of the left hand. She played for the Finnish national team this summer, as well as in the summer of 2002 and 2004. Green, UConn with 23 fast break points tonight. That's the most they've had in a game all year, and there are 12 minutes
Wow.
left. Swanier to McLaren, juggled it. Tough catch inside by Charles, who now has scored a career-high 19 points. She had 18 against Colgate in the second game of her career. She's got 19 tonight and a lot of time to add to it.
And I love that. Get Kylie McLaren the ball at the high post, and she will do something good with it.
Blake trying to spin around McLaren. Charles with rebound number 9. She's one rebound away from her fourth double-double. Thomas from the left. And with that, Mel Thomas is now tied with Nikisha Sales for 10th place on the all-time three-point list at UConn. That was her 134th of her career. UConn by 34. This is like the Florida-Ohio State game. Well, the Huskies, we began the night, Megan, by saying how would they deal with their adversity, the first time they've dealt with adversity, if you can consider a loss adversity, and so far they've dealt with it very well.
Well, this kid, yeah, Tina Charles, I think, has responded incredibly well, getting the ball down low in the blocks, nice patience, feeling where the defense is, and as I said, those long arms and that reach allows her to not come over the back, and here picks up the feed from Kylie McLaren and puts it home.
Look at those numbers.
Only missed one shot. Look at that.
Yep.
She's going to have a double-double, and they're still.
And remember, when she missed it, she got her own rebound and scored on the putback and got to the line. Well, we heard Gene Auriemma in one of our posts, actually I think twice this year in post-game interviews. He actually was quite funny in describing Tina's struggles inside at making a shot. Said he didn't understand how you could take a shot from in so close to the basket and miss it by so much.
Shocked that he uses sarcasm.
Blake with the shot. You should have heard him on the Big East conference call yesterday, talking about this proposed legislation. Here's Thomas to the left, and she's now all alone in 10th place on UConn history, passing Nikisha Sales in three-point field goals. That was her 135th. And she is still only midway through her junior year. Of course, Diana Taurasi has the record, breaking your former teammate Wendy Davis's career record for threes. So Mel will be climbing that ladder. Sullivan has the shot blocked. So Mel Thomas had only 2 threes in 28 minutes against Tennessee. She's got 3 tonight and 33 for the season. Anytime you can move ahead of someone the caliber of Nikisha Sales.
Yeah, that's saying something.
Pretty good. In traffic, a foul will be called. I think they might get Charles on the hold against Blake. This is what Thomas has done tonight. That's only the second time Thomas has scored 20 points this year, and the first time since opening night. She had a season night 23 against Richmond. 8th career 20-point game. Last year she was the Big East most improved player as a sophomore.
And you would think, gosh, I would think she'd have more 20-point games than that. But this team has got so many offensive weapons.
Yeah, well, they have 5 players averaging in double figures. The shot no good by Harris. Look at Thomas with the save, but it went to a Pirate.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place to save the ball.
Right.
Underneath your own defensive hoop.
Less dangerous when you're up by 35.
Yeah.
Corpivara with the left side jumper. Also dangerous for the face to go face first into the floor like she just did.
Yeah, with both arms behind you.
Charles inside will draw foul. Boy, she muscled that one up and over the rim. And she'll get to the free throw line with a chance to score 20 points in a game for the first time in her career. I think, Megan, that for UConn to make a deep run in March they're going to need the sort of performance out of Tina Charles that they're getting tonight, as opposed to the sort of performance they got Saturday, and really her first big test and a big spotlight game against a very good Tennessee team.
There's no question they're going to need Brittany Hunter, that young lady.
Right.
Certainly.
Well, we
Healthy.
know that Hunter can do it.
Yeah,
we know she's
absolutely. And you know,
and we also know that Charles is capable of doing it.
Yeah, and you know, it is more difficult for post players to make the adjustment to college. It's a much more physical game. You're running end line to end line, not just foul line to foul line. It is much more difficult. It's grueling. It's more physical.
With that rebound, Charles has her 4th career double-double. Soigné with the miss. Inside, McLaren with the loose change.
I love that kid. She's so fun to watch.
Pretty good hands. Charles with 20 points. That's a career high. And 10 rebounds. McLaren directed the rebound to Charles, and here's Gardler. Seton Hall gets back quickly on defense. Thomas for 3, knocks it down. Matches her season high with 23. Also, it's a career high for a Big East game for Thomas with those 23. 2 points shy of the career high period of 25 points. Lots of time left to get that.
Oh. 8+ minutes. That's a lifetime.
Emery with the miss. And didn't Emery have a hold of Charles's arm there? Soigné to Thomas for another 3. Rebound in traffic, Gardler, and she is fouled. So they'll keep it right at this end. It will be on Nicole Emery, her 3rd. Tahira Williams replaces Thomas, who will sit down with 23 points, 4 of 8 from 3-point range. And a nice ovation. Thomas very much looking forward to January 30th, when for the first time in her career she will play in her hometown of Cincinnati. First time in her college career. Against the Cincinnati Bearcats. One of her teammates, Michelle Jones, plays for Cincinnati, one of her high school teammates. McLaren with the flat-footed block. It will be Pirate ball inside the 8-minute mark. But it's been all UConn. The Huskies about to make it 193 straight home wins against an unranked opponent. It's been all UConn over Seton Hall, and part of the Pirates coaching staff, Dana Wynn, and assistant center Phyllis Mangina. She actually led the country in rebounding one year, and she was on the Seton Hall team, which was the last one to beat UConn on January 5th, 1994 at Walsh Auditorium in South Orange. Seton Hall won that one 74-53. Megan, you remember that was the first of your 2 years as an assistant.
I do. I don't remember much these days, but I do remember that. And I remember Gino benching a lot of the starters kind of to make it hurt as much as possible.
The coaches have a way of doing that.
Oh, yeah. It hit home loud and clear to a lot of them.
Labadie. But the Huskies have beaten the Pirates 22 straight times since then. Seton Hall went to the NCAA tournament that year. The first of 2 straight appearances. Their only 2 NCAA appearances. Shot clock down to 10. Corpivara inside. Tough catch, Womack. And Cassie Kearns never left her feet for that rebound. She's bailed out because Soigné ran it down before it went over the sideline. Kearns, the sophomore from Valparaiso, Indiana. So it appears that Tina Charles's night is over with a career high 20 points along with 12 rebounds. Her 4th career double-double. Gardler to McLaren. And her pass ricochets off Corpivara into the hands of Sullivan. Only the 11th turnover for the Huskies. UConn is 3rd in the Big East in turnover margin. Down low, Womack, kick out, Corpivara. Rebound in traffic to Tahira Williams.
Corpivara just hasn't been able to get anything going offensively here.
3 of 9 from the floor for 6 points. Williams juggled the pass. Kick out Gardler for 3.
Oh.
Rebound off McLaren's hands.
Gardler just made a face like, whoa, I missed that bad.
It's broke the backboard.
She did.
Sullivan to Roden. Looking inside, and now she'll deliver it down low to Womack. Instead of backing in on McLaren, she finds Labadie. She's already got 1-3. Rebound Soignier, and she is tripped by Roden. Her second.
Yeah, she got kneed, I think, in a calf. Limping a little.
15th foul on the Pirates. So Soignier will limp to the bench and replaced by Montgomery. A balanced effort indeed tonight for UConn.
And as Chris Daly alluded to at halftime, the difference is far different game, Tennessee and Seton Hall. But the bottom line is you still got to come out and deliver. I mean, you could feel sorry for yourself, or you just come back out and you play as hard and as well as you can. And I think the Huskies did a pretty good job responding.
Labadie nearly intercepted the Kearns pass, but took it over the end line. So the Huskies will go to 3-0 in the Big East, heading into Saturday's game with Syracuse and first-year coach Quentin Hillsman. They have one of the outstanding freshmen in the league in Nicole Michael. Yesterday she was named the Big East Freshman of the Week for the 3rd time already this year. Right side 3, Montgomery. Rebound Kearns, and she's fouled by Roden again. Only the 6th team foul, so the Huskies will not shoot. Gino Auriemma's club will go to 13-1 heading into the Syracuse game. We'll have it for you Saturday at 2 o'clock here on CPTV. Then the nationally televised visit to North Carolina, a trip to Providence and St. John's. Providence coming off that stunning win over Louisville last week. First loss of the year for the Cardinals, who were ranked 13th at the time.
That's a great win for Providence.
Yep.
Wow.
What a job Phil Seymour has done in his 2 years.
He's a good guy.
Pass down low, deflected out of bounds by Emery with 15 seconds left in the shot clock. Chelsea Marandola, one of the outstanding players in the Big East on the Providence team. Prolific 3-point shooter. Down low, Williams misses the jumper. McLaren with the offensive rebound. Womack just hacked her in the arm. Wow.
She's going to get fouled a lot because she's so big. People don't think that people are fouling her.
Well, Montgomery got fouled in the backcourt that time by Labadie. That's 7 fouls. So now the Huskies will shoot. And we'll go down the other end of the floor where Montgomery will shoot. I started to say yesterday in the Big East conference call, one of the reporters asked Gino Auriemma a question about this proposed legislation that would either limit the amount of time or possibly do away with women's basketball teams using male students for them to practice against. And you want to talk a little bit about that? I mean, obviously you were a terrific player here. You played a lot against guys. Isn't that the way you get better?
Well, we actually, yeah. I mean, we started doing it in '94 when I was coaching, and we went over. Wendy Davis and I. We found a couple guys over in Guy. We brought them over, and it made Jen Rosati and Pam Weber so much better. It just, you couldn't get that good against your counterparts. They weren't challenged enough. They thought they were pretty good, and then they started playing against these guys. And, you know, next thing you know, our game as a team was being elevated because of it. And don't forget, too, you know, there are times where your numbers are depleted. You just need the guys out there, too, for bodies.
Yep.
To make it 5-on-5, but it's absolutely ludicrous, the proposal.
Gino said that the legislation doesn't go far enough. He says, I think they ought to limit, I'm a man, they ought to limit the amount of practices I can attend. Imagine what that would do for my golf game.
He's a buffoon.
Down low, Harris laid it in, and then he went on to say,
and I'm sure people thought he was serious.
And he says, and you know, and I don't know if I'm supposed to disclose this, but there's a movement here at UConn. We don't want any male professors teaching any of our players. We want them to have no contact with anyone but women for the rest of their life. And the reporter responded by saying, thank you. Elsewhere in the Big East, that's a terrific win for Agnes Baronato's Pittsburgh team. That's only the 2nd loss of the year for Marquette in overtime in Pittsburgh.
Give a little shout to Shea Ralph, a member of the Pittsburgh staff.
Georgetown hanging in at home, down 3 against Louisville.
Louisville's struggling right now.
DePaul with a 1-point second-half lead over West Virginia. So those are DePaul, Marquette, and Louisville. Certainly 3 of the very best teams in the Big East, and certainly 3 of the biggest threats to UConn's attempt to defend its Big East title and win the Big East championship for the 14th time.
You know, Bob, the Big East is so good. I think the undefeated days are over.
Right.
There's just too much talent.
Pittsburgh, what an improvement they've made.
Oh, unbelievable.
McLaren with the miss, rebound inside Womack, and Pittsburgh's doing it this year despite a season-ending injury to Mallory Wynn.
Yeah, how about that?
On the break, it's Emery to finish. Wynn was a preseason All-Big East selection. But they have an unbelievable rebounding presence in Mercedes Walker. Boy, she plants her feet in the lane.
Be a good
You
matchup.
can't move her.
Well, be a good matchup
Her
with
McLaren?
Yeah, exactly.
You bet. Williams tried to save and does Montgomery. Shot clock is down to 7. McLaren sets the high screen. Gardler for 3. Wow, that was a lot better than that first one, huh?
She had to make one.
Megan Gardler knocking down her 4th three-pointer of the year, and that was the 25th assist of the season for UConn. That's the most they've had. 35 field goals, 25 assists, and the 8th three-pointer of the night.
At cptv.org. That is going to be
one of the all-timers.
Oh my God! You know, because you think of all the dinners and events that we've all ever been to, and you never go to a roast like this. I just think
It'll be a no holds barred.
Oh,
everyone will go after him, and then he'll get the mic. And look out!
Oh, I just hope no children will be in the room.
Womack blocked the Fernandez shot. Here's Messina one-on-one with Gardler inside the 3-minute mark. Most points UConn has scored this year was 96 against Virginia. They're 4 away from that with 2:45 to go. Gardler to Kearns, spins.
Not sure if that was the intention, but she'll take it.
Well, when you're 6'3", your first move should be toward the basket. But she's got 8. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Indiana, her senior year at Valparaiso High School. Loose on the floor, and it looked like Fernandez was touching the end line while she had the ball, so it will go back to the Pirates. Jackie Fernandez, a freshman from Pawcatuck, Connecticut, arrived on campus as a walk-on, and 2 weeks later she was awarded a scholarship. First UConn player from the state of Connecticut since Maria Conlon. Harris with the miss, and Tahira Williams with the rebound. Fernandez to Gardler. Montgomery on the right as we hit the 2-minute mark. 9th three-point of the night for the Huskies, and the 4th for Montgomery. She's got 15.
She's got to have a confidence about her stroking the ball, because they need her to be a legitimate 3-point threat.
So that's the most points UConn has scored in a game this year. 97, one more than they had in Virginia. That night in Virginia, they shot 65.6%. That's the best single game shooting percentage in the Big East this year.
That's unheard of.
Down low, Gardler tries to save, could not. 3 seconds left in the shot clock. Huskies shooting 57.6% tonight. So Monique Blake, as we look, is out of the game. So she scored 9 points. So she'll need 4 on Saturday against Rutgers to reach the 1,000-point mark, and it will be a home game.
It'd be nice to get it at home.
Montgomery with the shake and bake.
Whoa!
She's got 17, and UConn 1 point away from 100. Emery, and we'll get a hold on Fernandez.
I'm surprised that Renee Montgomery is still in the game.
Well, I think Soignier, remember, she went off limping.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking to see if she was on the bench or being treated at all. She is there, not being treated, but.
Shot no good by Harris, fouled by Gardler, so she will get to the free throw line. There's a look at Keisha Soignier, who was the Georgia Class 4A Player of the Year 3 years ago as a senior at Columbus High School. 3-time first-team All-State performer. And to the free throw line will go Amber Harris. She's out of Washington, Pennsylvania. Didn't begin her career on a very promising note when she missed 27 games with an ankle injury as a freshman. 1,400 points, 1,012 rebounds in her high school career. Tahira Williams with the rebound. And here's Montgomery as we approach the 1-minute mark. Right side Gardler for three. And for the first time this year, the Huskies have hit 100. Last time UConn scored 100, November 19th, 2004 against Buffalo on opening night. They won that one 107-40. Right now it's 102-58 at the 52nd mark. And Williams will go to the line with a chance to add to that total. There you see it. That was the all UConn Buffalo weekend. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They played each other in football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, and the Huskies got the hat trick. They swept them all.
Yeah,
Williams at the free throw line.
I guess it's no wonder Buffalo didn't want to come back.
Williams knocked down the first one. Williams' high school team, Immaculate Heart Academy, went 24-0 2 years ago as a senior. Last year when UConn played down in South Orange against Seton Hall, Tahira had her whole family and lots of friends on hand. Walsh Auditorium is only about 20 miles from her home in Montclair, maybe even less than that. On the left, it's Messina. Up top to Labadie. Baseline Harris. Messina. Ball fake. Fernandez knocked it loose. Shot clock down to 5. And Williams gets the steal. I don't think anybody's going to catch her. Look at her explode.
Yeah, she's got great speed, Tahira Williams. And, you know, it's impressive for a kid who's been playing forward, you know, to dribble that well with the ball that quickly.
So Williams has 7 points tonight. So that is a new season high for her. Shot clock off. Gardler with the exclamation point with the block. And that'll do it. So UConn has now won 179 of its last 184 games here at Gamble Pavilion. A season high 106 points. They shoot 59.4% from the floor. There you see what they've done at home when it comes to unranked opponents. They get 23 from Mel Thomas, 20 from Tina Charles. It's the second time this year the Huskies have had 2 players score 20 in a game. The first time was on opening night against Richmond. So following the loss to Tennessee, the Huskies get the win. The last 13 years, UConn now 40-0 when coming off a loss. 106-58 the final.